But in a situation like what just, happened to him, and, it broke my heart to see that little girl was there and that happened to her.
Right.
And I'm like, in a case like that shouldn't have happened.
Absolutely not. But that's the code that we grew up in, because I grew up in a different time and era in the 70s and in the 80s and in the 90s. Nah, man, that code existed and stood strong. If you see somebody with a mama, with their kids or anything, that's off limits.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mess with that.
That's
But
real.
as the 2000s turned, that code started to change and it started to diminish.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.
Let me ask
But
you,
hold on.
when was the first time you seen crack?
My brothers.
How old were you?
I was, that was 1984. So I was 12.
And you seen it.
Yeah.
But did you know what it was?
Had no idea.
Little white in a medicine bottle? Was it a medicine bottle? Oh, it's powder.
I seen a powder first. I seen a powder because, God rest his soul, my oldest brother, he was not only selling it, but he was using it as well.
Okay.
So he used to snort powder cocaine. And one day I seen him snorting powder cocaine, snorting the lines and everything. And I was just perplexed and curious, like, what is that? What is that? And what does it do to you? And I remember he would come home late nights and, he might have been high or he might have binged on something, man. And, he'd be in the house hollering, screaming, or just acting erratic.
He's snorting.
And, yeah.
He's snorting that shit.
He was snorting. My brother, my oldest brother was so intelligent. He went to engineering school.
Wow.
And from my understanding and my recollection, that's how he got addicted to drugs in the first place. He was wondering how the white kids at college were staying up. They wasn't going to sleep. They was able to stay up 16, 17 hours at a time.
Wow.
And study. So my brother was like, how y'all doing this? How y'all staying up? And they introduced him to, I think it was angel dust or something like that.
Damn.
And because my brother didn't use drugs prior to that. And that's how he got hooked. So when he got back, he got into the cocaine, the PCP, the Sherm, and all that. He got into all that stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, that was my first experience of
Seeing it, yeah.
cocaine. And
Yeah.
But you said, okay, in the middle class, you said it was crack cocaine that caused the split up. But that was years ago where a lot of people are not even doing it like they used to. So what's the excuse for today's generation? There's so many single parent households today.
Because the damage is done.
So it can't be repaired?
Now that's the process now where it has to be repaired and families have to be brought together.
How?
Oh, I don't have the answer.
but I can tell you, and from my perspective, if something's broke, you have to build it, and it takes a lot. It's easier to tear something down than to build it up.
Right.
So I think the main thing you got to realize, if it's tore down and you're trying to build it up, it's not going to be easy when you steadily splitting and dividing these families. Again, there's still the governmental system. There's still drugs. There's still all these things that defines how families move, man. There's a lot of different technical things. The social media thing is looking at everybody's judging each other now. Right. It's not going to be easy. And then a lot of time, women and men, they compete more than they do come together.
Right.
They talk about each other. They don't even, the first thing a woman to tell, I don't need no man.
Right.
I don't need no man. I don't need no man to make it.
Right.
My daddy wasn't there for me. Why would I don't even trust a man.
Right.
So people need to really get their priorities straight and figure out what's most important for them.
No, they need to go to God is what they really need to do.
Thank you.
All that other stuff, you know what I'm saying?
To say that.
Yeah, they need to go to God.
If you ask me for an answer, my answer is a spiritual foundation. Mm-hmm. Whatever your belief is, whatever your religion is, but you need a spiritual foundation to follow that'll teach you these things. And if it's not teaching you that, then it's not you're not following the right thing. But, to love your people. If we see Chinese people get together, right, and we wonder why all the what are those people that's coming over and they buying all this, the Indian people?
Indian.
Oh yeah, they're
buying
7-Eleven everywhere,
yeah,
man.
Everywhere they buying
Everywhere.
up all
They
the
getting-
stuff in the black communities,
And they give
But
their people their jobs
that's
and all
right.
of that.
You see how they stick together. That's what the black man has to do. That's what the black family has to do. The black man and the black woman, we have to come together, and these are the things that we have to apply these principles.
We got to do better, man, and we got to figure it out. And we got to. I don't believe in talking about our people and not talking to them.
Right.
I think these podcasts help a lot because a lot of times you're in their homes now
Right.
because the things are being said and they're able to digest it, and they don't have to be embarrassed by digesting
That's
it.
right.
Because now nobody has to see them
That's
take
right.
it in,
That's
and
right.
they know they need it.
That's
So
right.
I think a lot of healing is coming through podcasting more than what people are letting on. To be honest with you,
Well, it
because of the
depends on the
stories,
content.
because of the
Yeah.
stories that's
Yeah.
being told, even good or bad. Think about this for a minute. Some people don't have no guidance, man.
Right.
They'll believe anybody. It's hard, bro. It's sad. What you said just made me think about it because some of the stuff being said is horrible.
Right.
Then you got the good, but that's life. It's been that
It's
way.
life. It's been that way.
If people say, don't watch the news back when we were kids,
Yeah.
or watch the news, it's going to be something on there tonight, or such and such got killed, or such and such got shot.
Right.
They robbed 4 people. They stole that ATM down there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
And,
right.
and you was waiting, anticipating that like a movie was coming on.
Right.
What I'm telling you is it's the same thing today, except for amplified.
Right.
Now you can see it. Somebody gets shot. They bled out. You see it. He
Right.
shot, that little boy got shot with little running up in Dallas.
Yeah, with the baby.
You
With the
seen,
baby.
we
Yeah.
seen it from point A to point B. The other
Yeah.
guys just coming across the street. We
That's
waiting on
right.
the next episode because
right.
we know already it's gonna be another
just
video
caught
coming
one
out.
and
Or
the
they just
girl,
called
the
one and the
getaway
other one on the
driver.
left. We seeing it in real time.
Real time.
Visuals of everything that's going on.
That's what
right.
social media does now.
That's what you see.
what it do.
It's more intense than the news.
That's right.
But even
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
That's right. It is.
but even talking about that situation, you were in the streets at one point. You know,
Yes.
back in the days when you were a younger kid.
I was.
And since I've been doing this podcast, because before this I knew nothing about the streets, right? But people come on here and I hear all the different stories, and they say that you have a code in the streets that if you see an op or whoever, if there's a woman or a child, you leave them for another time and you come back and get them whenever you can get them by themselves. But in a situation like what just happened to him. And, it broke my heart to see that that little girl was there and that happened to her.
Right.
And I'm like, in a case like that shouldn't have happened.
Absolutely not. But that's the code that we grew up in, because I grew up in a different time and era in the 70s and in the 80s and in the 90s. Nah, man, that code existed and stood strong. If you see somebody with their mama, with their kids or anything, that's off limits. Mm-hmm. You don't mess with that.
That's
But
real.
as the 2000s turned, that code started to change and it started to diminish.
Ain't that something?
Yes.
That's
So that
something.
code
Yeah.
no longer exists.
Let's
Yeah.
get in. Let's
For
get in.
some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk.